Do you think that it's possible for an airport to pivot to hydrogen? Something that I think is like, how would like a hub like DFW, how would they integrate hydrogen? Like we say, like they may could start with ground vehicles, but if you really wanted to transition to a hydrogen powered aircraft, I feel like you would have to either build like a new terminal or shut down existing operations, which would maybe collapse the entire global supply chain. So, like, what does that even look like?
Yeah, well, I'm not an expert in large scale airport H2 infrastructures. I think there's a lot of people looking into those very challenging questions at the moment. I can, however, speak to our local experience because we are implementing liquid hydrogen on a Class G airport in Quebec,
Mhm.
Canada. At the end of the day, I think it's a lot of effort to be done in terms of making sure that the physical separation and the mitigations um, that have to be put in place to safely operate that infrastructure, whether that's from a supply perspective or a refueling activity perspective. So defining a right standard, a consensus standard on how to refuel and what are the constraints that pertain to that. I think there's only a handful of people in the world that refuel liquid hydrogen on in recent years. I mean, on small scale or medium size aircraft vehicles. Um, of course, I'm not talking about the space shuttle and all
Right,
those
right.
larger programs. I'm really talking about smaller scale aircraft
Hmm.
prototypes. So the lack of standards and standard operating procedures on how that refueling will look like, how long does it take? How long it takes largely depends on the specific hydrogen storage technology you're using on board the vehicle. So I think all those questions are still pending, and that will inform how best to integrate that infrastructure in an airport environment. We are in the process again of doing that in a Class G airport, so it's nothing like a controlled airspace,
Sure.
large international, high traffic density type of airport. But still a lot of learnings and a lot of helpful processes to help informing the refueling procedures and how that can be scaled at other airport where the environment might be more complex.
Hmm.
So I think the industry has to collaborate in terms of the definition of those standards, and that will dictate a lot how best and to operate and integrate those refueling equipment on airport sites.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Very interesting. Maybe you'll help me get Val from Zero Avia. I would love to have him on the podcast.